Okay, everybody, you better savor this moment because there is only 9 more of these. Welcome to Sunday Money.
Yeah.
I'm Lauren Fox. Corey is here.
Hi.
And Daryl is also here, but he's not actually here.
He's in his basement.
He's in his basement.
Welcome.
Hi, friend.
Satellite.
Welcome, Daryl.
Satellite.
The interweb.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How was your weekend, Daryl?
Oh, man.
A long
Charlotte's
weekend.
been very pretty, hasn't it been? You know, it's been
It sure
good weather.
has.
Well, let's see. Did we talk about I was in Ocean Isle? Did I tell you that last time, Corey?
No.
I went to Ocean Isle the weekend before and got stung by a jellyfish
Where?
on the leg.
In the beach.
But it didn't hurt. It only hurt for like 3 seconds.
Knock on wood,
And
man.
then-
I've never been stung by a jellyfish. So, was it a man of war?
No, it just felt like a horsefly bite, you know?
Oh yeah.
And then you just kind of, and I went, and I pushed it off my leg, and I was like, that's it. And I just kept surfing in the water.
Did you pee on yourself?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't they say to pee on it, it'll make it feel better?
I did
that.
pee in the water, but I went to where it was more shallow so it could go down my leg.
No, you
Right.
did not.
I did. I don't know if that
Nasty.
helped. Everybody's peeing in the ocean.
I've done it.
All the fish. Thank you, Lauren.
are
Well, no, I've
nasty.
peed on myself because I got a jellyfish sting, but I've definitely also peed in the ocean.
Y'all are nasty.
Yeah,
Corey, come on.
But Corey, I made a horrible mistake. So you know how sometimes guys' swimming suits have like a liner?
Yes.
Well, apparently, like you're supposed to cut those out, or you don't need them. And
Why?
it's like a
Leave them in there.
netting.
Yeah, you
It's like
leave
a
them in
netting,
there.
right?
Yeah. It
Yeah,
keeps all your
well-
stuff secure.
That's why I never took it out. And for the pool, it's great. You're just laying around the pool and you're walking. But at the ocean with the waves and the sand,
Yeah, not
Corey,
good.
let me tell you.
Why
not
are
a
we?
good
Why
day.
did we open with this? This is a
I'd
terrible
say it.
thing to open with. Why did we get on this?
Because
Welcome.
this is a PSA,
No.
Corey. This
No,
is a PSA to any guys out there that have dangling equipment. I was injured for a few
Don't act
hours.
like you have dangling equipment. I heard the ocean water's cold this time of year.
The salt
this is-
and the sand ruined
All right,
my...
all right. Let's talk
Chafing.
about Let's talk about. Let's give the fans what they want. They don't care to talk
so
about
I'm just
your
here to say, cut
We're
abrasive.
the
being
money.
we're being
netting.
relatable, Corey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we are
Oh,
Sunday Money,
We're Sunday morning.
brought
We're
to
a
you by
NASCAR
Hercules Tires and
O'Reilly
Auto
Auto
Parts.
Parts.
podcast.
something not towards the beach. You know what, Daryl, is Darlington Raceway.
I mean, it
Oh,
is
yeah,
on the
yeah.
way.
We're
It's
gonna
on the
talk
way.
about Darlington.
Yes.
So you were asking about Darlington. Okay, so anyways, that was last weekend. So this weekend,
Oh no.
the movie theater, Corey, and then we had off on Monday, so I got to watch you race. It was a great weekend of entertainment.
We didn't race on Monday. We raced on Sunday.
On Sunday.
No, I know. I just mean the whole weekend. I got to see a movie on Friday.
Oh.
I got to watch the race, and then I got to enjoy an off day yesterday. So it was a nice long weekend. But Corey's week didn't start off so good, and we'll get to racing. But
Yeah.
I saw you had
Emergency.
another family emergency, and this has got to be stressful going into the weekend.
A little bit. I mean, the hits keep on coming.
Mm-hmm.
So Friday, my wife had some stomach pain, and then it kept progressing, getting worse and worse, and then ultimately, she fainted, which was a scary moment, and I kind of helped her as she fell like a sack of potatoes to the ground, and we got her revived of sorts. So I was like, okay, this isn't like normal. So we ended up going to the ER. She had appendicitis, so they had to go in there, cut her appendix out. She's doing fine now. She's moving around very gingerly. She's sore, obviously, because they cut her abdomen and ripped an organ out. But luckily, they found that, and it didn't rupture.
That's
Which-
good.
I keep asking what an appendix is for. Nobody really has a good idea of what it does or why it's in there.
Mm-mm.
But I will say this: anybody who says it it's not useful, God wouldn't have put it in your body.
It does something.
It does something.
We
but-
don't know what.
It seems to do more bad than good, because if it can rupture, you're having a bad day. So, thank you to the doctors who got that thing out safe and sound. Kelly is hanging out at the house recovering. She's doing fine. But Friday and Saturday got really exciting in the LaJoy household. So,
Wow.
all is good now. Obviously, I hated to leave on Sunday to head down to Darlington because I didn't want to leave her, on the couch.
Down and
She
out.
can't really pick up Levi because they told her not to because she's sore, right? And she has stitches and the whole bit. But my mom and Casey and sister-in-law Erin came over and helped out with the baby, so that was good. Allowed me to go out and ride around for, it wasn't quite 500 miles. It was like 300 something after we knocked the water line off of it on a restart. They jammed up by running the back of Joey, which somehow made Joey's car even faster than it was. He ended up finishing third. So I said, you're welcome.
Yeah.
For knocking your back bumper off, making your car more aerodynamic.
That's got to be scary though, Corey, because I imagine you can't like communicate with her, right? They're looking at her, then she's in surgery. She can't just text message you. It's COVID. You can't be at the hospital. Like that's a pretty stressful afternoon.
It was. Friday night was a long night for sure, but she had her phone on me so she can text and kind of update me as, at midnight when they took her to a normal hospital bed and took her in for surgery at 7.
Did you find out via text that she had to have the surgery?
No, I was in the room with her. So I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait.
We gotta take this out.
I couldn't wait in the waiting room, but when they took her back to a room, I was allowed to go in there and, wear my mask and gloves and the whole bit. And then they came back with the CAT scan results and like, yep, we gotta take that thing out.
2020, huh, Lauren?
It's the worst.
It is the worst. But I don't want to say it's the worst because it could get. I mean, what stops next?
Right.
What next? So I don't want to find out what's next because it's already been shit from the start.
Right.
And here we are.
Here we are. We're so glad to hear that Kelly's okay. That is that could be scary.
Thank you for your concern, Daryl.
I text you.
Yeah, you did. So did Lauren.
Like a real friend.
Yes.
Like a real friend.
We can play the part.
Yeah, so obviously it was race weekend again. Like I told you, I did have a theater experience I wanted to tell you about, Corey, because, this is a big deal in North Carolina. Our theaters are still closed. We can't go to the theaters, so I had to cross state lines to go see a movie.
Where'd you go, like Fort Mill?
Yeah, I went to South Carolina, and I was nervous. I had my little outfit on, and my mask and everything. And so I went to see the movie Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan big movie theater, and every other aisle is crossed off. It was good. If you like those kind of movies, it was great.
Okay.
But for all you NASCAR fans out there, at this movie theater, this huge movie theater, they're only allowed to be at 30%, and every other aisle is closed. And it was just, it was not the same. So it made me really happy then to see fans at the racetrack again. I was like, man, at least NASCAR's like doing their best to get as many people there and letting people have a semi-normal experience, because it was very strange to be at the movie theater.
Yeah.
You didn't have to wear your mask once you got to your seat, but there was only 9 people there. I don't know how you survive a business with 9 people buy tickets, but I was happy there was only 9 people there, because then I felt safer for the 2.5 hours I spent there.
Yeah.
And then I tuned in, finally to watch the race. The movie was good. If you want to see it, you should see it. A lot of people say it's confusing. But then when the race happened, I was like, there's a lot of people at Darlington. And did it just look like that on TV, or did you feel like there was a lot of people there?
I felt like there was a lot of people there. I told Alexa when I walked in this morning, I'm like, there felt like that there was like, a lot of people there. There was probably more people there on Sunday than there normally was for a full capacity Xfinity race. And I think I'd say it every time on here after a race with fans. It's like there's so much more energy in the arena when there's fans there, right? You're doing driver intros and they're cheering, they're booing for Kyle Busch, and they're booing for that guy and cheering that guy. Like that's what gets you excited to go. Like it has some like meaning behind it. And it's like when you go somewhere and there's no fans, it's kind of like deflated. And after the national anthem, you're like, all right, I guess we'll just get in here. And you know that there's millions of people watching it via, TV, but you really want to put on a show for the people who buy a ticket and are sitting there baking in the sun for 4 hours. Like that's the reason why you do it, to feed off that energy. So to see 8,500 was allowed in there at Darlington. So it felt like it might be because you're just not used to seeing fans in the stands why it felt like so much, but it felt like
stands are kind of narrow
100.
Too.
They are. I mean, but I think they did a good job of spreading it. Like there was people all over. It wasn't like one section, like 8,500 people. It was 8,500 down the back stretch, 8,500 spread out through the front stretch, and it was really cool. Darlington, as always, does a great job with all the pre-race stuff. Before the green flag, that there was fireworks going off in the corners, which kind of, I was like, is somebody blowing up? Like, what the hell's going on? Because, like, 10 cars in front of me, I'm like, why is that son of a bitch smoking? And I'm like, oh, they're shooting off fireworks. Like, we were coming to the green, I thought somebody was blowing up because there was smoke everywhere. But
that was the first time being the first race of the playoffs. So they really had to do it up big.
They had to blow it out. And that, as always, like I said, Darlington, Kerry Tharp, and all the team did a great job with the cookout Southern 500. I wanted the first thing I want to talk about, we haven't even talked about this for topics, but the age-old argument is, are the cup races too long, Daryl?
Wait, this is a NASCAR podcast. No, absolutely not. They are the right amount of length, and I love every minute for the 7 hours that we're at the racetrack. Now, you know what it is, Corey? The races aren't too long. It's everything else.
Like
Lauren
what?
and I have talked about this. Well, Lauren and I used to be in charge of the pre-race fun back when I worked in NASCAR. Back when I worked in NASCAR last year. Now,
was that your chocolate impersonation?
That was my chocolate. Yeah. I used to work in NASCAR.
People liked my chocolate impersonation last week.
Yeah, you did great because you got the little draw. So it's all the stuff leading up to it, man. It's like It starts at 7 a.m.
Hang on. But you act like that's a bad thing. If you're paying $80 for a ticket, why would you not want to go see Daryl Mott at the Busch Beer section and get a free koozie? And walk around and go to the Chevy tent or Ford tent and go see your favorite driver. Like, that's part of the show.
Totally. It's the start times that make it so much longer, right? So it's like, it's the pre-race concert starting later than I would pick. It's the fireworks starting, the driver intro. We have to watch every single. We need to watch Reed Sorensen go around the track in the back of a pickup. I don't know. Maybe we just do the marquee names and then the rest. Here's the rest of them. Start doing them by team. I don't know.
What's wrong with the extra 8 minutes of introducing the last 15 guys? Because those guys are in the same race too, doing the same job, getting paid a 50th of what the big guys are getting paid to do the same job.
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
It takes forever. And then when you have a red flag or another caution or a 12 cautions because you have a 21-year-old pretending to be a cup driver, then we're there for 7 hours because somebody, couldn't handle a restart. It's just too long. It's too long, right? It's long. It gets really long. Sometimes.
I think in general, our races are long. But in Darlington's case, you do you, boo. Don't change anything.
In regards to Darlington.
In regards to Darlington.
Yeah.
And a couple others.
Now, a couple others. You have to have the World 600, right? Or whatever you wanted to call it. Coke 600 at Charlotte. Yep. You have to keep that one 600 miles. Don't make it kilometers. Don't make it whatever else, 300 mile. No. That race, the Coke 600, needs to be 600 miles. The Southern 500 needs to be 500 miles. The Daytona 500, hey, guess what? 500 miles too. But when we go to Michigan, I'm down for a 500 kilometer race. 312 or whatever it may. Like, those distances are nice because the results are going to be relatively the same. When you have a long race and you have an endurance race such as Darlington or Charlotte, the results are going to vary a little bit.
Right.
Just like, if the race was 312 miles or 500 kilometers to Darlington, the result would have been different than how it played out in the end.
Right.
Which made it for an interesting, captivating finish. Kevin Harvick taking the checkered flag again. What's that? His seventh win this year?
Again.
Too many.
I'm with you, Corey. But I'm just saying, just don't start any of the day races later than 1 or 2.
I'm down for a 1 o'clock.
Me too.
I can agree with that.
Everything else, and then at 1 o'clock we're going racing unless it's a night race. Then I'm fine. What time did the Darlington race finish? Because I was getting text messages at 1:30 in the morning from people being like, Kevin Harvick.
It was
not
all right.
that late.
9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, nothing crazy happened.
I don't know. I was like halfway home by the time it ended.
Texted me at 1:30. I didn't watch the end after you wrecked Corey. I turned it off. I got so frustrated.
You know what capped off today just right? Well, 2 things capped off today. One was a positive, one was a negative. About halfway through, I got the cruise control on, 69 miles an hour. I thought it was a 55 mile an hour zone. Apparently it wasn't. 45 miles an hour. I got a ticket
Oh,
on the way home.
Wait, what did you think the speed? What?
I thought it was 55.
Okay, and you were going how fast?
69.
Okay.
Still speeding.
Yeah.
But 14 over. Who's counting?
Okay. Probably the state trooper that pulled you over.
Yeah. So he was kind of cool, kind of not. I tried to pull out. Hey man, I was coming from the race. I'm still in the throttle down mode. Oh yeah, cool. Here's your ticket. Damn it. Yeah, so that was a great cap off to our 500 day.
Wait. Well, did you say the words, I'm a NASCAR driver?
No, I didn't say that. I just said, I'm coming from the race. We had like the race plan on our phone on the dashboard watching the end of it. He didn't care. He didn't care.
Hold on, sir. Let me rewind.
I did have
an hour ago.
I kind of did have like my phone like sitting because I got my hard card on the back and my stickers. Like if he'd have cared to look.
Let me help you for the next time. This is what you say. Hey man, I just wrecked out of the race. I'm in a bad mood.
He didn't even give me that time. Like it was like, give me your license. Okay, yes sir.
Yes sir.
He said, "Are you the famous welder?"
No. Everybody knows you don't speed through McBee.
Okay.
So I wasn't in McBee.
Okay.
But it was a 4-lane highway.
Right.
Who puts a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit on a 4-lane highway? Some podunk town.
So what are you gonna do, Corey? What are you gonna do? Listen.
What are you gonna do?
Just pay the ticket, man. Eat it. I was speeding. I was breaking the law. I deserved it.
I get a lawyer every time I get pulled over.
So do I.
Every time. I pay for the lawyer, and then they just keep knocking him out of court.
But you know what? You know what capped off the day in a positive way?
What?
Is a nice quarter-pounder tray from Cookout.
Wow.
With some corn dog.
No, I actually audibled. I was gonna get a corn dog and French fries. I got French fries and a new chorizo quesadilla.
Oh boy.
It was good. Don't hate on the chorizo quesadilla from Cookout. It was surprisingly good.
Daryl, have you tried Cookout since our conversation last week?
No.
Why?
Bro, you gotta try it.
There's too many cars. There's too many. It's just
no. It goes so fast. They're almost as efficient as Chick-fil-A.
Almost.
It looks like the whole restaurant is the size of my kitchen, so I assume everything's gonna taste kind of the same.
Yes.
It's all gonna taste like batter.
It all comes out of the same deep fryer, so that's why it tastes so good. All the flavors mesh together.
I can't.
No wonder you're miserable, Daryl.
No way. I want to ask. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll do it today. Maybe today's the day I'll get my quesadilla and my corn dog and my barbecue chicken sandwich.
For $3.95.
Don't lie to our listeners. They know you're not going to eat there.
I'm not going. I'm a Bojangles man. I can't. What do you want me to do?
Well, they don't support us anymore, so they're not getting any more of my hard-earned dollars.
They only support
Dale
Jr. download.
I want my sodium intake for the day for my small fry. That is what I'm looking for when I go to fast food. Right. I love how salty they are. But I have a question about NASCAR, actually, Corey.
Thank you.
This is what you've been dreaming of.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I watch the race, I'm like, well, there's a lot of chance involved, obviously. Things just kind of happen.
Some places.
But other times, I have to believe that it has to do with some of the reporting going on, that when silly season comes around and people's jobs are on the line, somehow miraculously, they kind of rise to the occasion. Eric Jones finishes 4th.
Well,
Eric Jones, we've been talking about.
He did win the Southern 500.
He did win it. He did it win last year. Yeah.
But as soon as people start saying Eric's out, all of a sudden the gas is turned up. Clint Boyer, here's another example. Yeah. Clint Boyer has not been having a great season. Another top 10 when his job is on the line.
It's funny how that works.
You start looking down the line, and Austin Dillon gets showed up by Kaz. Maybe it doesn't matter, but all of a sudden he's showing up at the second place finish.
I don't necessarily think that's related, but the fact of when drivers' contracts are up, they do find a little more gumption to stand on that loud pedal a little. That's been the thing for as long as I've been in the sport, even a fan of it. Like you see somebody's contracts coming, all of a sudden they go from running 16th, now they're running 5th, right? Like they got to they need some negotiating leverage, so they need a couple good finishes to pad it, and then they sign the contract, go back to status quo. I don't want to name names, but there's 5 guys at the top of my list who probably aren't in the sport anymore, but a couple of them are that are notorious contract gassers, right? There was guys that, that was on a free agent, won the Daytona 500, won won the Brickyard race, signs a couple more years, go back to mediocrity. So like that's not a new thing. So
I
yeah,
just was
I'm
wondering if you
glad.
thought
Yeah,
it's like mental. Is it mental, do you think? Is there a little bit of mental, like, hey, I have something to prove?
yeah.
Or do you think it's just by chance?
Um,
Probably
more
both.
so a little bit more motivation than chance, but when it comes down to a Gibbs car or Darlington that makes a lot of power and a lot of downforce and those things handle really good, you're naturally gonna be faster than a lot of the other guys, right? Like there was one point in time where Gibbs cars were first, second, fifth, sixth, so like they obviously had their stuff together, and I think that obviously Eric should have made the playoffs, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And he is racing essentially for a job. He's trying to continue to put good runs up on the board so somebody can pay him what he feels like it's worth to drive a race car. No different than me. It's just he's still sitting on a little faster horse. But yeah, it's not a new thing. It's not a new thing. People who need a contract are going to be maybe have a little bit more motivation to get on the wheel late in those races.
Well, pretty interesting. And then also, we talked about it briefly. Another NASCAR question I wanted to ask you about was, did you see the Jenna Fryer quote from talking to Steve Phelps?
Yeah, so that came out last week, I think early last week, maybe,
It was
about Denny
right
Hamlin.
after we podcasted.
Yeah, so that's still that has kind of been, so the tweet was something about when Steve Phelps was doing his State of the Union address, more or less. They asked him if anybody's reached out, or if the rule is still if you drive for a 4-car team, you can't have ownership stake in another team. So that was asked, and then he said that they would certainly entertain in a opportunity like that. They at least hear it out. And then Steve said that Denny hasn't reached out about ownership of another team, which still could be the case. He might do it later on or whatever, but that rumor's still cooling off. It just still doesn't make a lot of business sense to me. I still don't see that rumor happening. People, it's just like social media in a nutshell anymore. If you talk about something enough and people start subtweeting it enough and thinking that it's true, it eventually becomes true. Like you just speak it into existence, even though it's not real. That's kind of where we're at as a country anymore. So if you talk about a rumor long enough and then you just throw names in there with no sort of factual basis behind it, then it's true. That's just what it is anymore.
Say it, Lauren. Fake news. How you do it?
Fake news.
Yeah.
I don't have any good impressions.
And it may not be fake news, but I don't see it happening. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I could see RPM switching to Toyota, like I said last week. Haven't heard a lot of rumblings. I know that they're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes that nobody's really hearing, but
I just don't seem right.
No. It just with the 43 being on the side of a Toyota. Ugh. Even they manufacture a lot of cars in the United States and they do all that, but
right.
I still think in premise.
I can't imagine Richard Petty driving a Toyota Camry.
No, right?
I don't see it.
Don't see it. But in desperate times, call for desperate measures.
So true.
Clutch Coffee Bar in Mooresville, North Carolina is redefining the drive-thru coffee game in Race City, USA. The Clutch experience is fast, friendly, and delicious. Clutch Coffee Bar offers signature lattes and mochas, custom-flavored infused energy drinks, smoothies, and more. You can also order our signature Clutch coffee beans online and have them shipped directly to you. Go to clutchcoffeebar.com or visit our 2 locations in Mooresville, 356 Williamson Road and 154 West Plaza Drive. Power up today with Clutch Coffee Bar.
So
I just thought that was pretty crazy, and just wondering what you had to say about it. And Darlington was okay until you got wrecked, man. Well, I mean,
yeah, we were okay.
There?
Yeah, we were okay. We were about a 26, 7. Yeah, because you bust your ass for 350 miles, and then I don't know if somebody missed a shift on the restart or what happened. It jumbled up the entire lane, and then the accordion gets more and more towards the back of the field because everybody in the front's nose to tail, right, and you kind of space out 3-4 feet every car behind it. So the accordion, no difference in like your normal fender bend or your brake check or whatever it is on the highway. the first cars hit a little bit, the second cars hit a little bit more, and then it just keeps pounding, and the damage gets more and more because you have all that room. So that's what happened. I was probably 13th in line because I was probably 25th or 6th, and they stacked up, and you literally can't see anything beyond the spoiler right in front of the car in front of you because the spoiler's 9 inches high. So next thing I know, Joey was virtually stopped, and I tried going to the left, going like to shoot the middle, and it just caught my right front headlight on his left rear quarter, and there's like this tiny water line that's no bigger than your pinky finger right at the top of the radiator, and it went pink and knocked it right off, and it was spraying water everywhere, and that was the end of our day. So that really sucked. I mean, there was a little bit of attrition at the end of it, a couple guys wrecking, a couple guys having a bad day, but we could have had a 24th, 5th place finish, so it sucks.
I felt bad for you because you're my friend now. We're friends again.
Yeah.
But I really felt bad for Ross Chastain.
Yeah, man, that race on Saturday.
Ross had a great day on Saturday. Yeah. Well, not Saturday. I mean, but then how does that happen? How do you go from wheeling it and putting on a show to 7 laps down? I don't understand how this happens.
Lauren, could you explain to the listeners on why that would be? So Ross Chastain, for those who didn't watch the race on Saturday, was putting on a show. Mm-hmm. Denny Hamlin had a superior car. He was in one of, I think, his only Xfinity race of the year. Denny is arguably one of the best at Darlington of all time. So he is behind Ross with like 12 to go. Ross is driving the wheels off of it, on the wall, right, hitting his marks, doing everything he can to hold off Denny Hamlin. So Denny gets to him about 6 to go, gets in him a little bit. They're both bouncing off the wall, sideways, sliding all around. And the last lap, coming to the white flag, Denny had a run on him down the backstretch. He was underneath of him. He slid him, overshot it, hit the wall, and Ross couldn't quite get it turned to go underneath of him, and he run in the back of him, and then Brandon Jones, who was running third, passed them both, won the race. It was an unbelievably exciting finish. Mm-hmm. That was one of them that gets the blood pumping for sure. So, yeah. So, all of a sudden, Ross Chastain, who everybody knows is a good driver, right? He's won a couple Xfinity races for Ganassi a couple years ago. He goes from contending for the win, putting on the show, racing with Denny Hamlin, future Hall of Famer. He's won, 6 Cup races this year? Turns around Sunday, jumps in the 77 car. It was a badass Dale Earnhardt throwback scheme with the 77 gold leaf numbers, dirty Mo media on the quarter panels, and runs 7 laps down. I don't think Ross Chastain forgot how to drive overnight.
I don't think so.
And I don't think that he was tired.
I think this was your argument that
something
that you love to talk about.
But I'm not going to talk about it.
You're not going to talk about it because you'll make Daryl mad.
You're going to talk about it.
I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah. Why do you think Ross forgot how to drive between Saturday night and Sunday?
I mean, you know what? Those guys up front are just not in the same. They're not in the same race as us guys in the back. I think that's what it has to do with.
Not quite. I wouldn't word it like that, but.
But Corey,
because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Shout out to NASCAR Reddit, because on NASCAR Reddit they always say, the people that don't like Corey on NASCAR Reddit say, he's been saying that same old thing for. But here's the thing, guys, on NASCAR Reddit,
it still applies.
Maybe it's true.
Still applies.
He doesn't only say it about himself. Corey's not only saying it for Corey. Corey brings it up when any driver is in that situation. So here's another example of him not saying it about himself, but saying it for Ross Chastain's benefit. Sometimes it's all about the Benjamins, to quote.
All about the money.
Well,
that's right. And
I wouldn't even say it's about the money. I mean, I guess the underlying motive is because his Xfinity deal is an upper echelon Xfinity team, right? Colleague is 10 cars, Nutrien deal's solid, it's well funded. Got great people, solid RCR cars and engines, and he can compete for wins because it's a race-winning capable car. When you have, a 5 or 6 year old Ganassi car, or whatever they race over at Spire, and they have probably a C-level engine that's probably down 60 or 70 horsepower, and your body isn't quite skewed, and your rear end doesn't move quite as much as the Gibbs cars or the faster cars, you're not going to be able to keep up. Hey guys, breaking news. A 32nd place car can't keep up with the first place car. It doesn't matter who's driving it. That's just what it is.
The same old song.
It is what it is.
But
Mhm.
I
It's
feel
true.
like, I mean, that's been.
It's a good example.
I don't want, and I haven't been in anything that wins, so you can't A-B me going from a Saturday competing for a win to a Sunday. I just run 28th every week, so like it gets old hearing it from me. But when you watch a guy smoking the field on Saturday to being essentially in the way, he's not, because Ross knows kind of how to ebb and flow and get out of the way of the leaders and all that, and like keep his car clean. Like that's just what you got. 7 laps down, like that's a big difference. That's a lot of speed.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty car, though.
It looked good. So that moves us to our next topic of
Oh,
throwback schemes. I mean I love Darlington. It's one of my favorite races, not only because Darlington's badass, but throwback scheme.
It's a good weekend, usually.
It was. The theme this year was past champions. There, it was kind of open-ended, so you can pick whoever you wanted. There was a couple of them. Obviously, the prominent one was Jimmy Johnson's Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty mesh scheme,
All
which
the
was
7 times.
Man, dude, that had me in the field. I think he passed me probably 2-3 times. I'm like, man, that thing is badass. Can we even talk about, not even a scheme? We got to talk about the look before the race, Daryl. Fashionista. What'd you think about Jimmy Johnson's look before the race?
I love Jimmy Johnson. I love him. I think he always looks like a superstar. He is our superstar. He's our superstar. So I thought he looked great, but I love the I love the hat and I love the gargoyle. I mean, he's not normally one to really ham it up like that. He's just always like Jimmy Johnson. But it was nice to see him, sort of salute to the legends and be like, yo. And I bet for him that had to be just incredible to.
Man,
he's the triple. That's the triplets.
That is the GOAT of all cars. I mean, you have the King, the Intimidator, and then the GOAT, all in one car. What else could you ask? I mean, how creative. I don't know who was really involved with that idea, but man.
I feel like when they released the paint scheme, it wasn't like I was like, okay, it's cool, but it doesn't look great.
But
on the track.
On track, and just the activation behind it, and once you knew kind of like how everybody felt about it, and how it unified every different fan, right? Because sometimes a Richard Petty fan wasn't a fan necessarily of Jimmy Johnson, or people can pick their favorite out of those 3, right? If you're a Richard Petty fan, you probably didn't want to see Jimmy Johnson win 7 championships. Or same thing with a Dale Earnhardt fan. You didn't want to see a Southern California kid tie Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty, right? Like something just ain't right about that, right? Like that
That's Corey's Thanksgiving.
It ain't right.
There.
If you're a Richard Petty fan, you could got behind that car on Sunday night. If you're a Dale Earnhardt fan, you got behind that car on Saturday night. So when you got Jimmy Johnson sitting there in one of Richard Petty's with the raccoon penises hanging off of it and the feathers and the whole bit, and then Lauren told us before the show started those were actually Dale Earnhardt's glasses.
Yeah, he done wore them.
That's unbelievable.
He's looking through the same lenses
as Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator.
Hell yeah, bro.
I didn't know that before the show. My mind is blown. Where do they get those sunglasses from?
I guess they talked to Kelly and Dale Jr. about, I don't know if they just had them in the collection or if they helped them track them down or what.
I wonder if those sunglasses come with their own bodyguard.
Well, I bet they're insured.
They should be in the Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian, but in an underground vault tucked away that nobody can see it.
Right.
That's right.
But the fact that Jimmy Johnson looked as such.
He deserved them.
Man, I love that guy.
Me too.
I do too.
Man, it's starting
dreamy.
it's starting to creep down in, right? Daryl's been doing the countdown. We got 9 shows left. But you know what else is a somber countdown is Jimmy Johnson's race as the full-time driver in the Cup Series. I don't think that we realize the impact not having him around is gonna be, right? We kind of knew losing Dale Jr. was gonna be a big deal.
Yep.
We got blindsided by Carl Edwards leaving on no notice, right? And everybody's, Jeff Gordon did his farewell tour and they were doing everything for him, right? Like that was kind of expected. Jimmy Johnson. I was looking at it on the way here. Like, everybody talks about the greatest of all time in any sport, right? Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. Why isn't Jimmy Johnson in that conversation? Jimmy Johnson has more championships than Michael Jordan. He has more championships than Tom Brady. Why is he not in the conversation for greatest of all time in their particular sport overall? Like, I mean, I'm a little biased because I know Jimmy Johnson off the racetrack, and he's just a badass all the way around. But why isn't he even in the conversation? I guess because some people don't consider NASCAR a stick and ball sport or what have you. But he is
I
one
have
of
a
the
hot take on this, Corey.
Please let me hear it.
I don't know. It's going to be negative. You
That's
said I'm
fine.
not supposed to be negative
What else
anymore.
is different?
Yeah, that's your
What
MO.
else is new?
I blame the fans.
For what?
I blame the fans for that problem. Do you
Why?
want to know why?
Yes.
NASCAR this week and last week has started using celebrities to help promote the playoffs.
Oh my God! What a
Now, hold on.
terrible analogy that was for that.
Now I'm going to tell you
explain-
why.
Okay, I don't want to.
Guess who's upset about it? Guess who's upset about the fact that NASCAR is going out of their way to convince celebrities to help promote our sport?
Me.
The fans. The fans are all over Twitter. NASCAR's out of touch. We don't need celebrities. Back in the day, Corey, when you were just a little pup looking up to daddy, anytime you released a TV show or a movie, you made a stop at NASCAR.
Yeah.
You went to the race, you promoted your film, you promoted your TV show, and it would you wouldn't even pass by. You couldn't. It was on the circuit of all the talk shows. You had to make a stop at a NASCAR race.
Yeah.
Somewhere along there, we kind of stopped doing that. I don't know how that went down. Lauren, you're up at the big office now. You might need to find out.
Okay, I'll ask.
So when I hear that NASCAR is trying to do these crossovers with all these celebrities, I go, this is what we need to be doing. This is how we get bigger sponsors. This is how we get people to care about our superstars.
I agree.
And as soon as they do it, all the NASCAR fans online, not all, but I'd say 95%. We don't need Hollywood celebrity, Mario Lopez. This is so stupid. NASCAR sure doesn't know what they're doing. Well, no wonder. If we had been doing that the whole time, Jimmy Johnson gets invited to be on more TV shows and be in movies and be on the talk shows. That's what we've been needing. We need to be on a world platform, and we're working on it again.
What are those videos that they're doing? They're explaining the playoffs. I think that's probably the thing that I think more people are upset about, the fact than the celebrities are talking about it. We're having them explain the playoffs. One, is the playoffs maybe a little too complicated if we really have to do an explainer video on it? And then two, Mario Lopez? What?
Is that the barrel that we're scraping the bottom of?
And now I haven't dug into this, but who are the other celebrities that are doing it? Because I looked it up. Jimmy Johnson has more Twitter followers than Mario Lopez does. And now maybe Mario Lopez has a bigger reach. And I do like the audience that Mario Lopez would probably bring. But Mario Lopez?
That's the best we can do.
What?
Why is
Chris
Austin
Pratt?
Dillon, Why is Austin Dillon our only driver that's doing television shows and stuff? It was like him and Carl Edwards.
It's not true. Jimmy Johnson was on Ryan's Mystery Playdate, which is on Nick Jr. So is Joey Logano. So, okay, first of all, that's all I watch anymore. They are doing TV shows.
MTV Awards. They should be at the Emmys. They should be at these places, Corey. That's what we need. We need our guys to be on a platform. And if that means a few less photo shoots and changing hats and a few more off days to go and do those things, I think that's what the sport needed, personally. So
I
blame
disagree.
The fans
I don't
hating
disagree.
on Hollywood and hating on any driver that dares and goes to do anything like that, because that's what happens every time they do it.
I don't think anybody has any problems with them going and doing that stuff. I think that the displeasure is surrounding this campaign.
Yeah.
The playoff explainer videos and then Mario Lopez.
Right.
What?
It's AC Slater. He's the hero of my youth.
If this was 1989, then sure.
Okay, but Lauren,
Yeah.
here's my question. I was opening my magazine this weekend at the pool, my new GQ magazine. Guess which driver had an entire spread, an entire layout?
I don't
in
know.
GQ
Probably
Bubba
one I
did.
don't care about.
Bubba did. He
Bubba
was holding.
Wall.
Oh, Bubba. Okay.
He was holding a white. He was holding a white horse. Didn't he have his chest hanging out? Like,
Oh, yeah,
no,
yeah.
that was his underwear.
His underwear
His
modeling.
underwear modeling.
he had his little suit tied around the waist and he had a white stallion. It looked
I
like a
know.
pony, but it's supposed to be a stallion.
Him and I shared a laugh over that. I'm like, who set that one up?
But exactly,
Whiff.
Corey, I'm happy for whoever. But
Yes.
shouldn't all our drivers be showing up in some of these magazines? Like, you guys are race car drivers.
No,
That's a huge thing, man.
No, because not all race car drivers like
they don't
myself.
have the star power.
Well, we don't have the star power, and we're not really relevant, right? Like Bubba is probably the most relevant driver in the Cup Series right now, besides Jimmy Johnson, or you could even argue Kevin Harvick. Like he's got more star power, he's got more eyeballs on him than any of those guys do because he's been carrying this burden of not necessarily burden, but he's been taking a stand for what he believes in, and people are interested to see. So it doesn't surprise me to see Bubba Wallace in GQ or in these progressive.
I'll be honest, Daryl.
Magazines.
I think some of those guys, they don't care to do it. Just like the attitudes that we get whenever they come and do sponsor obligations, they're not thrilled to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not picking on him, but I can't imagine Denny Hamlin is raising his hand going, all right, put me on Everybody Loves Raymond or whatever show is on now.
Probably not a good analogy. He'd probably do it.
Really?
Yeah, but like Corey, we went from having these like movie premieres basically at our races to now all that happens is, Kurt Busch throws out a pitch at a Cubs game once a year, and then whoever wins the championship gets to go on Kelly and whoever her co-host is that day. We just need to be working as hard as the publicists do in Hollywood to make that B-list, C-list celebrity become an A-lister. They spend all day promoting these people to get them to the next level of that ladder. And if we do that, we're going to have the biggest sport in the world again.
I don't disagree with that, but
I think NASCAR does try. I mean, they have an entire office dedicated in LA. in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm happy with the things that they're doing right now.
Yep.
I think it's awesome.
Agreed.
Well, and it's not an instant thing, right? You're starting to see the shift back, right? Because like when the dates you were talking about, like mid 2000s, is probably at the peak of money and popularity and sponsorship and all that stuff. That's when the celebrities were showing up. That's when there was 200,000 people at the racetrack every week. Then it wasn't quite the trendy thing to do, and we saw attendance dip, and then the COT cars and the competition started to dwindle as well. Now you're starting, like, it's swinging back the other way, though. It's not going downhill anymore. Like, we are trending back up. You see the Netflix special with Kevin James. They're doing a NASCAR Netflix show. Like, we're starting to make NASCAR cool again. And that's like what everybody's trying to, not everybody, but especially people down in the big building in Charlotte, they see the need to what you're saying. They're like, we got to make NASCAR cool. We got to make NASCAR trendy. And if you want to wear if you want to make some cutoff jorts and wear a tank top to a NASCAR race and let your redneck out for a day, like, let's embrace it, right? Mm-hmm. But like, we got to make NASCAR going to the event and not necessarily sitting there watching the race for 4 hours. It's the collective environment is what makes NASCAR cool. I don't think it's all the show on the racetrack.
No, I agree. I just was disappointed when I started seeing some of the celebrity videos and I was reading the comments and I'm like, man, our fans are like the best and the worst sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it had to do with what they were doing.
I don't disagree
personally.
With that. Yeah,
because I love seeing celebrities.
He can't explain it.
What?
Who is?
Corey's not even in the playoffs, and I'm sure he still can't explain it. It's confusing.
I'll be honest. I think the playoffs are probably the easiest to understand at this point.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, then if you try to explain the stage points and stuff like that rolls over, it could probably get a little bit convoluted. But generally speaking, people get the concept of a playoff, right? The bottom four guys are axed every 3 weeks.
Right.
I think we could probably use a better analogy than a bocce ball setup. But, who am I?
I do love bocce ball, though.
Let's take a break, and we'll get to some Twitter questions after the break.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTire.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking around with us. We got a couple current event topics we're going to talk about, but first we got to give out the prestigious award we give away every week, and y'all know what it is. It is the Clutch Performer of the Week. We haven't discussed this.
No.
I have my idea who my Clutch Performer of the Week is, but I wanted to hear what Daryl and Lauren's are. Lauren, what you got?
I say Ross Chastain.
All right.
For the Xfinity race.
For his performance on Saturday. He's holding off Denny Hamlin. Also, he didn't get the win. He finished second. But, man, he put on a damn show. So Ross Chastain is...
You get my pick, Ross.
Is your Clutch Performer of the Week, Lauren? Who's yours, Daryl?
I think that's a splendid choice. I really like Ross. I really like Ross. I think, Ross Chastain. That's 2 versus 1.
Okay, now let's guess who Corey's is. On the count of 3, we should all say who we think Corey's is.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson.
No.
Because Corey loves Jimmy Johnson.
I do love him, but
You're Mr. Hendrick.
he wasn't.
With Jimmy Johnson leaving, I could be the next Jimmy Johnson. Just give me a chance, man.
Okay.
Those are shoes that nobody will ever be able to fill, right? Somebody could drive the 48, but they will never be Jimmy Johnson. Nor will there ever be another Jimmy Johnson. No. And you guys know how I love to give the Clutch Performer of the Week to somebody you don't expect.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to give it to somebody who...
Brittany Logano.
Yeah.
I could give it to Brittany for filling in and watching Levi while we were on the way to the emergency room. I guess I can give him a Clutch Performer of the Week to Kelly for being a trooper.
So true.
And getting her appendix cut out.
Was that who you were originally going to give it to?
No,
okay.
I was going to originally give it to Austin Dillon because he had a strong run.
Oh,
he's
true,
kind of like he was the dark horse on Sunday night, and they never really touched on it on the broadcast afterwards. Kevin Harvick had some like issues coming around in the last lap. I don't know if his motor was blowing up or whatever, but he was only like 8 feet behind him. One more lap, Austin Dillon would have got there and wrecked him and won the race. That would have been humongous. So we got a bunch of Clutch Performers of the Week.
Yeah.
We got Ross Chastain.
Everyone's
Austin
a winner
Dillon,
on Sunday money.
Yeah, and Kelly.
I did like Austin Dillon's paint scheme too.
And his fire suit looked good too. He had some pinstripe red.
Yeah, they always do a good job.
Yeah, and they really they embraced Throwback because they have a lot to choose from. I mean, that 3 car has a lot of iconic schemes. So
iconic.
Ross, Austin, and Kelly, you guys are the Clutch Performers of the Week. Clutch Performer of the Week is brought to you by Clutch Coffee Bar in Mooresville, North Carolina. You can order Clutch Coffee beans online and have them shipped directly to you. Go to clutchcoffeebar.com. I got my Clutch coffee right here. Been sipping on it all show. Great. I haven't had any breakfast, so I can kind of feel like my beard growing as we. That's why I'm talking so much today.
Yeah.
Today. Oh, you're doing great. You're a great host today.
Yeah.
Because it's this Clutch coffee's got me going. Like I'm literally buzzing right now.
In other news, it's time to do our pallet check-in.
Oh, sorry, he froze up.
Too bad. Business, and she goes and scoops up pallets. Oh, I said it's time for our pallet check-in with Lauren Fox. Mm-hmm. What is she buying this week? What money of Andrew's is she wasting? That is what we want to know. Andrew's listening right now. Andrew, we think about you every time Lauren goes and buys another pallet. Tell people what's going on in the world of pallet. What is it? Bulk buy? Pallet bulk buys?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to call it, Daryl. I haven't been in the pallet business for the last week or so. I've been busy. But I will just have you know that I am a working woman, so I have my own money that I buy my pallets with. Then I use Andrew's money
to subsidize
the money that I spent on the pallet. Okay, but I'm not in the business this week. Although my mattress pallet, that was a very lucrative pallet business. My mattress.
You moved all your mattresses.
I moved all my mattresses. We upgraded to our own king-size mattress this week. No thanks to anybody listening to this podcast. Big Mama had to go out there and figure it out herself.
Like an independent woman.
Like an independent woman.
I'm going to buy a purple mattress, Lauren. I'm going to get one of them purple ones.
Daryl, you just let me know if you need a new mattress and I can hook you up.
But Corey and I were actually asking about this before the show started. So just take people through a 30-second, like, how does this happen? Do you have to go to the same place every time, or are you literally driving around looking for pallet things? No. Or is this all one location?
I have a supplier, Daryl. There's just this place. It's. I think a lot of people don't realize that people do this, but Target, they get rid of past season stuff. It's plenty good stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. They get rid of stuff. They put it on a pallet, they ship it off, and then wholesalers or liquidation companies buy it, and then Big Mama goes in and she buys a pallet, and then she resells it. That's
maybe
what I'd be doing.
Maybe we'll get Mario Lopez to do an explaining video on how
On
the pallet
pallets.
business works.
It's just like miniature golf, okay?
Right.
So when you're playing miniature golf and
And you hit it out of the hole, that is one stroke. And then if you hit it in the hole, that is one more stroke, but then you're done with that hole and you go to the next
That's
one.
right.
But Lauren, when you walk into the warehouse, is it like Storage Wars? Can you
It's
walk
like a
around the
warehouse.
pallet?
Yeah, you can look at it. You can look at
So
it.
do
You
you know
can't be
what's in
digging
each
into it.
pallet? Okay.
It
So it's
depends.
not
It
like
depends on the
Sprite.
pallet. Sometimes it's just cardboard boxes. I'm not that big of a risk taker. I'm not just gonna buy something that I have no idea what's in there.
Calculated.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want a bunch of Lisa Frank folders. Like, that's not what I'm looking for.
It's trash.
Right.
Have you and Andrew
Garbage.
had a fight over your pallet?
100%. 100%. He
Where
was
he's
he
like,
was down
"Lauren,
for
what
the
hell?"
mattress pallets, so that was some good
Okay.
stuff. So
But I
Okay.
think a little
That
bit
was
of
good.
healthy argument sometimes is good.
it's great.
It
We
builds-
we don't fight. We don't do real fights. We fight over pallets and over
Yeah.
stupid stuff.
The stuff
so,
that matters.
Right. It's the stuff that really gets our blood boiling and so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, that's the pallet business 101. I think maybe this is
Yeah.
something I'm going to get into in the off season, Corey. What
I'll
do you
let
think?
you know, Daryl.
No, I don't want to infringe on Lauren's business. I got enough stuff going on. I don't want to be creeping on her pallet game.
Right. Yeah,
Just
I can't
like-
be
All right,
giving
well,
out my info.
Just like I'm not going to be out there hanging drywall and infringing on your game. I got my own stuff I can do.
Guys, we finally finished painting the house. The outside is completely painted on this flip. So now it's
Daryl,
all
send me
inside.
some pics. I want to see.
Lauren, today the floors go in. The floors are going in today.
I love it. Send me that Zillow listing.
Okay, all right. Also, I don't know if I told you, Corey, I have another real estate business I started.
What's that? Look at us, guys. We are entrepreneurs.
We're entrepreneurs. It's
Are
like
you
Shark
Warren
Tank.
Buffett now?
I am making trailers, like movie trailers, but for houses that are for sale. So, like, think of a 90-second Cribs.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You're like the
Uh-huh, and
host.
I'm the host. It's like HGTV Daryl.
I
and
love
you
it,
just
Daryl.
Like, come on in, buy this house. Look at this microwave. Look at that wine rack.
I
and
love
then
it.
That's it, Corey. I'm not selling them. I'm the middleman. I'm the promoter
I love
of
it.
these properties.
You're like the Humpy Wheeler of real estate.
Yeah.
That's right. So when you're ready to sell, call 1-800. No, I don't know. So that's what's going on. The
That's
other
what's going on
story-
in our world.
A big sports story this weekend. We don't talk about a whole lot of other sports on this show, but I don't know if everybody had to see it
Right.
because it was probably the biggest story over the weekend was Novak Djokovic,
Djokovic.
the number one tennis player in the world in the U.S. Open. He essentially lost out on a point, was frustrated with himself, and you know how tennis players carry an extra ball in their pocket, right?
Mhm.
Like because they choose between their ball that they like to serve. So it was in his pocket, takes it out, and just was gonna like hit it up against the wall behind him, right, and get a little bit of frustration out. Well, he whipped it around and sniped this poor lady in the esophagus. And somebody get out the Emmy because she had the lead actress of the year award come out.
Yep.
Daryl, what do you think about? Oh yeah, she went.
She went down. She was on the ground. Like,
Oh
sitting there,
yeah.
stunned.
Oh no,
Uh,
and the more people started
also-
walking to her, then she started playing it up really good. So
Mhm.
yeah, actress of the
is
year
very,
award.
Yeah,
That's who
tennis is
should have
very-
got the clutch performer of the week because she
So
was
true.
performed. She got hit in the throat and then she pulled out her damn. I don't even know what's a good actress's name.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl
Yeah.
Streep. Yeah, nailed it. Excellent performance.
Tennis is they're sticklers for their rules, man. They stick to the book. And this isn't the first time somebody's been, disqualified or whatever. But when you have a guy that's like 26-0, the best player in the world, right? That's a horrible reason to get like dropped out of a tournament. I mean, right? Do you think they should have given him a pass? I feel like he should have got a pass for this.
I think it was an accident. I don't think he was trying to that lady right in the throat.
Well,
Mhm.
you've gotta go back to previous examples like that, right?
True.
Like Novak's point was I have essentially a clean record. I've never done anything like this, right? It was a mistake. It was an accident, the whole bit. Sorry. Dock him a set, dock him whatever, right? Just don't kick him out. Well, sure enough, they felt it was if it needed to be penalized, and they kicked him right out of the tournament. The number 1 seeded guy, he's out. Do I think that warranted to get kicked out of the entire tournament? There's a lot of money involved, a lot of sponsorship ties to every particular tournament. Probably not. But who am I?
There's consequences to your actions.
That's it. Yeah, and for sure, right? And it's certainly he's going to learn next time he's aggravated to not rifle a tennis ball at the back wall, no matter who it is. He couldn't have aimed any better. I mean,
that was amazing.
Sniped her right in the throat. But
it's like
she's okay.
One of those things.
I'll preface
it with that. He's
known
known for this now. He's going to be the guy that's known for this.
Right.
Well, but like time heals all things, right? We talked about Kyle Larson. And we talked about, to pick up another tennis player, John McEnroe, right? He's on every tennis network there is talking about all this stuff. Like he's done more than anybody else could ever do in tennis, right? He's showed his ass more times than not, and people think now he's awesome, right? Like that just goes to show you what time does. And when you're successful at your sport, it's easy how people forget the the shortfalls or mistakes you made, because people can rally behind a winner. Tiger Woods, another perfect example, right? Time heals all things. Novak Djokovic is going to be just fine. He'll just be sitting on the couch and watch the end of the U.S. Open. But and I hope that poor woman that got sniped in the throat by a tennis ball is doing okay today.
Thoughts and prayers to
her. I'm sure she got a fat severance check or whatever it is.
Good stuff.
That was pretty crazy.
So before the show started, I rifled off a tweet to all the patrons of the show to rifle off a couple questions. We'll cover those. Did you have any, Daryl, that you particularly like?
No, but we have some great reviews. All the good reviews are coming in now.
That's good. Yeah, because they know that we're down. They only have a certain time schedule to get it in. I got to touch on this one. My favorite Built Bar flavor is banana nut bread. They had when they did this whole new label relaunch. When I was out there in Utah a couple weeks ago, they were rolling out the new packaging, and it looks really cool. They have a whole bunch of new flavors too. Salted caramel, banana nut bread. Look them up. BuiltBar.com. Banana nut bread's so good. So is salted caramel. Like they're like legit like bars. Mitchell Mumma, who's been a listener to the show since day one. He's always hanging out at the racetrack. Who does everybody have in their Final Four championship picks, Daryl? Who's your four?
Kevin Harvick's going to be our champion this year. So I have Kevin, Denny, Martin, Brad.
Ooh, that's a solid four.
It is.
Who do you got?
I think it's probably Kevin, Denny, Martin, Joey.
Okay, that's another solid four. I don't put Martin. I don't know. He was strong on Sunday. Kevin, Denny, just because all their playoff points they racked up. I think I'm not ruling out Kyle Busch. I think he's going to go on a run. And then I'm going to put in Joey in that Final Four. So that's my Final Four. I think we already talked about best Darlington throwback. We can all agree on Jimmy's. I like this question because we haven't done a lot of silly season or what I've heard today. Have you heard anything on the 2021 schedule?
Yeah, they've talked about it.
They haven't released it yet. There's still, I guess, some moving factors. I think things will return to somewhat normalcy about the first quarter of the year, I guess. As we've been hearing, Road America possibly will be on the schedule. Nashville's obviously, they've announced that as the new addition to the schedule. Also heard that the majority of them will be one-day shows. I don't know how many, but the majority. Like,
I love it.
Over 75% of them. So I like one-day shows. I'm down for that.
I hope they're here to stay.
The races obviously that you wouldn't consider to be one-day shows. Daytona 500, right? Coke 600.
Yeah, let's spread that. That one's only a week though now.
Yes.
Speed Weeks is now longer.
Speed Week.
Speed Week.
It's only Speed Week.
What happens with activations then? If they're does that mean like a brand will only have one day to activate at the racetrack?
No, they'll have
Well,
the
you
Truck
still have-
Series
yeah.
races and all that stuff. But yeah, there's certainly the weekend will be less.
Dead.
Very interesting.
How is that going to affect your pocket, Daryl?
I don't work in NASCAR anymore, Lauren.
That's true.
I'm out of that sport, unfortunately.
You're not looking at the questions. Another question: do you think the next gen car will showcase drivers' talent more? So tired of dirty air. Miss when cars had nose damage and would still be competitive. All right, Nick Cohan. Any car with damage is not going to run as fast as a car with damage. I don't care what the hell the body looks like. It's just when the car is in its pristine form, it's going to run faster than when it is damaged, right? Because normally when you have damage, you probably hit the suspension tweaks, and you're not as fast. So, the ideal situation for the next gen car, the tires are wider, so it should have more mechanical grip versus aerodynamic grip. Some of the technical things about it, like the quarter panels right now on the cars' tails are shifted to the right like 3 inches to get the right side quarter panels straighter to have more side force. Those tails will be straight up, so they will look actually more like a normal car. So they won't have as much side force to lean on, which in theory should showcase some drivers' talent more. I do believe that you're going to see, instead of the same 4 guys being good at every single racetrack, you're probably going to see some guys show up that their strong suits. Let's just say if their strong suits Bristol, you might see a guy that's in a 15th place car compete for a win more so than they can now.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're, even still at a short track with low downforce, high horsepower, you're still, it's still 85% car, 15% driver, give or take. So if it shifts to the way, if a driver has a good feel for a Martinsville, has a good feel for, even a Charlotte, should be able to make up a couple more spots than usual. That's what NASCAR's idea of it is. Now, always the teams with the smartest people, biggest budget, best CFD programs, best simulation programs are going to rise to the top. But if it gives a little bit back of, feedback to the driver, then I think everybody agrees that this next gen car is going to be, the long game is going to be really good for the sport. So hopefully it turns out as such.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. And there's a lot of smart people working on it. There's a lot of people excited about it. And everything I've been hearing has been very positive. So I'm excited to see that thing get developed. Excited. Oh, we didn't even talk about BMW, that rumor tweet.
That's right.
Man.
That's right.
Daryl, what'd you think about that tweet? Now, it might all be hocus pocus, right? BMW just throwing a little bit of line out there, but they are in the IMSA series, which, by the way, NASCAR owns.
They sure do.
So it's not far-fetched that we might be able to see I don't even know what their brand, like X3s, or I don't know what they are, but like any manufacturer coming to sport new is just going to be an influx of more money, which would be good for the entire sport. So come on with it, BMW.
I got a fan question.
Okay.
Twitter user Daryl Mott wants to know, if you didn't get a deal done by the end of this year, Corey, would you take a deal as a crew chief for the right amount of money?
I've been out of touch with that side of it a little bit too long, and I can do other things besides being a crew chief to make that amount of money. Because I haven't messed with simulation much. I've been out of touch with that for 3-4 years, so I wouldn't think that I'm capable of jumping into any sort of probably national series, either be a truck. I could probably do a truck with the right engineer around me, and being a crew chief in a lot of instances is more so being like a people manager, more so than being like the smartest guy. Your engineer has to be the smartest guy with simulation and pull down and loads and all that sort of stuff. So I think I could be a decent people manager. I've done it in the past. So, in the right situation, you got to surround yourself with the right people, just like anything else. I would probably I could do a truck, but I wouldn't look at doing that.
Good question.
Good question.
User Daryl Mott.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's about it. Unless we have.
I feel like we've been talking for 2 hours.
No, we've been talking for about an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, we do. We do have a read to do.
Yeah, we'll do a couple reviews.
Okay.
How about this?
man.
We need to make an O'Reilly segment, like an O'Reilly review segment, because O'Reilly review segment is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better parts, better prices, better reviews every day.
Every day. That's great.
All right. That's wonderful. Man Squad Spot gives us 5 stars. I hope this continues next year. 5 exclamation points.
Sorry, Man Squad Spot. We are breaking up.
Sorry, buddy. It's the never say
Like the
never,
Spice
Lauren.
Girls.
If Corey decides to go over to Barstool and start another podcast and he wants us, so maybe that's something we'll talk about.
Yeah,
I don't
that's true.
no, I don't. I
For
think
the right amount of money.
Barstool and NASCAR is out, right? I think they're donezo.
Okay.
Are they out?
They might need
I heard that they didn't renew their agreement. Now, as much attention as Barstool's getting right now and Portnoy's getting, I bet you the price went up a little bit from the original agreement. So, I thought that partnership was really cool. Obviously, I think the podcast with Clint didn't quite take the traction that they thought it was going to.
I think the national pandemic or worldwide
Yeah.
pandemic might have put a
it
damper
was
on that too.
It was high on the charts for a little while. I mean, but they also have their Barstool, and any podcast they put out is going to jump right up to the top there. But
Clint Boyer's probably a little hard to wrangle too.
We know that, don't we, Lauren?
We know.
C Olive 13, the all capitals best podcast, 5 stars. Guys, I started a job this summer working outside, and I found you guys randomly. I started all the way to the beginning and binge listened for the past 3 months. Now I'm coming down to the last days of work, and I just wanted to say thank you for making work go by so much better. It actually makes me enjoy my job, but don't worry, I'll still listen even when I'm done. Corey, I know you're going to find yourself a good ride. Just keep up with it. And Daryl, don't leave. The banter between you and Corey is much needed part of this show. Lauren always has good input to the conversations. I can safely say I have a new favorite driver, and I'll be cheering every race. Well, guys.
So nice.
That might be the nicest review
we've ever
That
gotten.
gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
That was nice.
Thank you,
Let's end
C
it
Olive.
there. That's
your-
There's
that's
nothing
your-
else to say.
But we're
That's
not
your-
going to keep doing it. Sorry.
That's your O'Reilly review section.
Mm-hmm. Thank
That was
you,
great.
C Olive 13.
Do you have anything
Thank
extra
you,
to add to
O'Reilly.
this, Daryl?
Just be nice to each other. Wash your hands. Wear your masks. Thanks for listening.
Have a great week.
9 to go.
Now 8 to go.
8.
No, 9.
Oh, after
Oh.
this. Okay. We're not good
Yeah.
at math, Corey.
Yeah.
Or
9
Daryl,
started
whoever
this
you
week.
are.
So, thanks
Okay,
for
bye.
listening. Lots
The
of fun.
Sunday money.
Miss you guys.
Bye.
Maybe I'll never see you in person again. Maybe every time we talk, it'll just be like this.
Maybe.
I hope so. You're like a robot.
I will come in for the last one
Okay.
All right. No,
so
you
we
won't.
can celebrate.
Yeah.